I thought we would discuss something that I have never discussed on this page before. We're going to be discussing my full criminal record. And so this could be very interesting because I am a biker. I have gotten in trouble with the law before. And I think people would be curious to see what my criminal record looks like after 5 years of riding. And so what are we going to take today? Are we going to take the H2 or are we taking the MT-07? I'm feeling not the H2, the MT-07. Especially if we're talking about my criminal record today. I think the H2 is probably the best bike to stay off of right now. Today we're just going to be, I'm going to hop right back on the MT-07. We're going to take it for a quick rip. I'm so underdressed considering this weather. It's so cold out today. June 30th, which where I live usually means it's pretty warm by now. It was just in the 90s, almost 100 last week, and now I'm sitting here, it's like 50 today. I'm like, what? Where did this come from? If the sun was out, it wouldn't be so bad. But no, of course it's not. I still apologize for the bad audio. Don't really know if I have a fix for it at the moment, but you guys can still understand me, so I figured I wanted to talk about this video that nobody asked me for, but I thought would be very interesting to the people who aren't getting into bikes. Bikes get a really bad rap for like being super illegal and dangerous. In some ways they are. A lot of the things that we do on these bikes are illegal in the terms of the law, but a lot of that comes down to don't ask, don't tell. Man, I tried to sneak in there. He was too close. There's no lane splitting here. That's not legal, and the only reason I don't do it here, even though it's for biker safety, or I shouldn't say lane splitting, lane filtering, so it's like going up to the front at a red light, is because a lot of old men typically get very angry when you do that and think that it is their job to take you out then, which ends up making it more dangerous here. If it was legalized, I do believe in California, of course it is, but I do believe that it decreases biker fatality rates. It's so awesome. Yeah, so like a lot of the things that we do to enjoy these bikes are illegal, and if you get caught doing them, there could be pretty hefty fines that come with that, and in some cases, rare cases, but in some cases, jail time. No, I am not going through that. I don't care what anyone says, I'm not going through that massive puddle of water. No, thank you. You guys didn't see it. I saw it because I have this camera flipped on. I'm gonna go that way. I have no idea where the hell I am. Wheelies, speeding, by technicalities on the law, they are dangerous and they are illegal, but you don't buy these bikes to putt around doing the speed limit. You don't buy a 1000cc sport bike just to go to work. You buy it to have fun. And in many cases, not always, but in many cases, as long as you're not doing it around where anyone's the wiser, which there are in many areas I find, even in very populated areas such as California, there are many areas that you can go and get away with riding these bikes the way they want to be ridden, in a way that no one's going to realize that you're actually doing it, which in that case, everybody wins. You get to enjoy the bike that you paid your hard money on, and you don't get to go to jail for doing that, which I personally think that a lot of these like speeding laws and reckless driving are purposely ambiguous, mainly because it comes down to the cop's discretion of what to charge you with. Lane splitting in Ohio, there's no law saying that you can't do it, but in most cases, if you get caught doing it, a cop's going to give you reckless driving, or he might just let you go with a warning saying not to do it again or whatever, or just use it as an excuse to pull you over and check for your license, registration, insurance, all that stuff. All it really comes down to is they want your money, and usually if you have money, even if you get caught, you usually end up getting out of it anyway, because again, that's all they really want. They just want money. They want you to go to court. They want you to pay the court fees. They want you to buy one of their lawyers, preferably. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The money still comes back to the court system. Puts money in the cops' pockets, puts money in the judges' pockets, puts money in everybody's pockets, because that's how they get paid. They want to feel like they're doing their job, which is fine. Now, I've been very fortunate. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. There you go. That was so cute. Awesome. Gotta do it for the kids, man. Dude, that is the best thing. I love that about bikes. I fucking love bikes, man. Anyway, yeah, so like, if you get caught doing something stupid like that, they're gonna give you a reckless out, they're gonna tow your bike, or they're gonna give you a warning like I just got the other day. And so there's like really no rules to this stuff. The best case scenario is just don't get caught doing stupid stuff. My best advice to you guys is have a legal plate somewhere on your bike. Somewhere. Doesn't matter, I'm not gonna say, give you a direct advice on where to put it, but I'm gonna say have a legal plate that has registration tags on it somewhere on the bike. It's gonna save you a lot of heartache in the future. Have at least basic liability insurance. Have something that has an insurance card with your name on it, because if you don't, they're gonna book you for that too, and that's a pretty hefty fine, because again, that just comes down to money. These insurance companies lobby laws that way that you are required to have insurance, and so it just comes down to money. They want your money. they're going to get it either way. And trust me, it's a lot cheaper if you just have basic liability or whatever is like the minimum legal for your state. Just run it. And yeah, make sure your tags are up to date, because if they're not up to date, they have full legal right to tow your bikes. Depending on the state, I don't know state by state. Sometimes they'll let you go. Again, just comes down to officer discretion. But if you don't want to have any risk of your bike getting towed, at least don't give them an excuse to. Just get proper registration. It's not hard. If you do those 3 things, most cases from what I've seen, cops let bikers go with just a warning, as long as it's not like too egregious. As long as you didn't directly put anybody's life at risk, something, you know, all the cops say, as long as you're not like doing anything egregious, they are going to let you go. Oh my god, this road. So about my criminal record, where do we start? Honestly, isn't that extensive. So my full criminal record history, I believe it dates back to 2021. The first time I've ever been pulled over. I've never been pulled over in my car, by the way. Whenever I'm in the car, I always try to like respect road laws the best I can, because I'm in a car. A car can actually potentially hurt somebody, but on a bike, of course, it's a different story. So this was 2021. This was my 2nd season of riding ever. So I was still very much a noob when it came to motorcycling at that time. 2021, I was on my 2014 FC09. I was hanging out with a bunch of friends, and right as we were finishing up hanging out, a giant rainstorm came out of nowhere. Showed up on radar. It wasn't supposed to rain that day, and it was coming for us very quickly. Now I was about 20 minutes away from my house at the time, so I very quickly packed my things and started making my way home. So I started doing some very dumb and very reckless things, which involved weaving through traffic, going excess of like triple the speed limit. I was doing very, very dumb things, allegedly, but whatever. And I ended up passing a state trooper who was not on the highway, just on a side road. Just my luck, right? And he ended up pulling me over not long after that. Now, he thought I was going to run from him. I was on a naked bike with not much experience under my belt. Probably would have been the dumbest decision of my life if I decided to run there. So I didn't. Immediately pulled off on the side of the road. I did what all the YouTubers do. Took out my key and I threw it to the side. I was utterly terrified at the time. And so, yeah. And he ended up booking me for reckless driving. I was not arrested. I shouldn't say booked. It was just, he ended up giving me a pretty fat ticket for reckless driving. Now, at the time, he didn't ask me for insurance. He didn't ask me for registration. And so he didn't mark down on the ticket I had insurance or registration. So he did mess up the ticket. And I ended up getting a lawyer, a pretty bad one at that. To be honest, the entire ticket should have been thrown out because of those mistakes. But I got to talk down to a marked lanes violation. Which is good. That's much better than a reckless driving ticket, which means I don't get like any license suspended, no risk of jail time. It was just like a fee and I paid it. They just want your money. Besides that moment, I have never been stopped by a cop for speeding before or after. Ever since then, that was the only moving violation I've ever had on my record. And by this point, it's pretty much gone from my record. You can't find it. It's not on my license anymore. I have no problems with my insurance or anything like that. So, and a marked lanes violation, I don't think increases your insurance anyway. So getting a lawyer was probably one of the better decisions I've ever made in my life. The only other ticket I've ever gotten from a badged police officer was another rider ran from the cops at the same gas station I was sitting at, and since he couldn't read the other guy's plate, he thought I knew the other person who ran, and he ended up giving me a ticket for that, which sucks because my plate was very visible from behind, and that video has at least over 100 million views combined across all my platforms. And so like I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that video, and that's out there. Kind of a bullshit ticket, but whatever. What am I gonna do about it? I wasn't going to argue with the cop in person, and I usually like to argue in court if I can. And yeah, so that's the extent of my criminal record. And yeah, so this year I've only gotten pulled over once, and that was for doing a wheelie, and luckily I didn't get a reckless op for that, because I very much could have. I could have gotten my bike towed and lost my license for a while, or possible jail time. And that's no bueno. No one wants that. I certainly don't want that. It's a bad thing. I would hate that, especially because I love riding so much. So, like I try to say, you know, if you're going to do stupid stuff, because we all do it, cops know, everybody buys these bikes to have fun. No one wants to be what do you call it, speed limit Larry on these bikes all the time. Buy these bikes to have fun. But my best advice is to do it where no one's going to realize, and especially where no cops are going to realize, because cops usually hang out where people hang out, because that's where crime happens. And the cops are more worried about actual crime that's going on. They're not worried about you doing a wheelie. As long as you're not hurting anybody, do it in a safe spot. I know, like, not terribly scandalous or anything like that. After you was as a criminal record, like, there's not much to it. I haven't been caught with, like, drugs or, like, going over 180 or, like, stabbing someone. Like, you know, that's not
anything too crazy.
Yeah, I like to think my parents raised me right. I don't try to do like anything evil, no violent crime or anything. And to be honest, I don't even have that extensive of a traffic history with the law, traffic law history. Because I try to practice what I preach. I try to do dumb stuff where no one tends to realize it, or in areas where they usually have more problems to worry about, like better problems. Because let's be honest, a biker doing a wheelie, unless you're doing it around pedestrians, which yes, you could definitely argue there that you're putting people at risk. But if a bike doing a wheelie slams into the back of a car, that car is going to win that argument. The car is probably not even going to get totaled out, man. Like you're gonna bend a panel in. Okay, you're gonna get way more hurt. Which is usually, I mean, there are some cops that are truly out there looking out for people's best interest, but I think most of them know that you're just trying to have a little bit of fun. And as long as you're wearing the proper gear doing it, you're not hurting anybody.